Right, everybody, good evening and welcome in to another week of Valor Racing League action, already with a very exciting race under our belts last night in the Xfinity Series, now getting ready for the Pocono Raceway Cup Series as we head to New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Granite State 160. Welcome in, everybody. My name is James McCombs, and with me up here tonight in the booth, once again, is the one and only Easy E. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you, bud?
Doing alright, can't complain. Alright, we get ready tonight for what should be a very exciting race. I know that you were in the race last night, Easy. Can you give us a little bit of what you experienced in that Xfinity Series race last night that was so exciting?
Three wide racing. Very, very small. We did our thing, and
exciting three-wide pass. At this race, we're going to go 150 laps around the Magic Mile, 158.7 miles getting covered in tonight's event. Fuel window somewhere around 42 to 44 laps. If these guys do well on their tires, they'll be able to make it about the same. Couple of things to know about this track: 1.058 miles in length, just above that 1 mile mark. This banking is extremely low, only about 2 to 7 degrees depending on how high up you go in the corners. Another one of these great progressive banking racetracks that creates a lot of great side-by-side action. This place was opened in 1990 and was last repaved in 2003. Easy, I just talked about that progressive banking, 2 to 7 degrees. What did you notice last night, how the car changed over the course of the long run, and where you want to be on the racetrack as the tires wear out?
The best spot, I think, if you hit that bottom lane, or that seam to the bottom lane, you are most likely going to spin if you don't hit it right. Some people turn it, so I just stayed in the middle. Your car, I just expect everybody to hold their...
Alright, definitely. I like your input on that, running in that second to third lane. We talked being almost like a seam where you have that in between on the second to first is really where you see the banking drop off from about 5 or 6 degrees all the way down to that 2 degrees, basically flat. And so those guys have some trouble balancing looser race cars with less grip on those Goodyear Eagles coming out of the corner, and that's where you see a lot of those spins. And we saw a couple of them yesterday, including getting onto pit road, which would be a huge deal for these drivers, trying to get on there with those low grip tires.
Yes. Pit road it sneaks up on you fast.
Is definitely important here too. That yellow line pushed so far forward, definitely not something a lot of drivers are expecting to come up on them so quick, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're hit with a speeding penalty.
Yep, because it's only 45 miles an hour entering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank goodness. Watch it.
Thank goodness it's not Dover where you have that 35 mile an hour coming out of that even faster mile track. Man, it's tough.
Yeah. It's like Watkins Glen coming out of the last turn.
Yeah, exactly. It can be very, very tough to get into pit lane.
Yeah.
Alright, so the Valor Pocono Raceway Cup Series, we're getting ready to go green flag racing here at New Hampshire, but first we got to take a look at the starting order for tonight's event. I'll take the first half of the order, and Easy E will take the second half. Starting on pole for tonight in the number 77 Chevy Camaro, finally being able to get into qualifying and made it to the pole. Max Boost 27 in the 77 starts on the pole, with DK Brown in the 18 machine starting in second. Diesel Rothgibb starts third in the 19 with Mike RP. Jose 720 in the 78 starts this one in fifth, with Slade G84 in the 38 to his outside. Bags 475 in the number 1 machine is in 7th, with Cola Motorsports, last week's winner, in 8th. Starting on the inside of row 5 is That Man Perky in the 21 machine, and Kill It Like Jason, one of the most consistent drivers in the field, starting tonight in 10th. Birdster starting this one in 11th in the number 10 machine, and the number 6 of Baronate starting this one in 12th. Cyber-K Bionic is in the number 16 and 13th position, and in 14th is NASCAR Extreme YT in the number 32 Go Fast Racing Ford Mustang. Take it away, Easy.
Coach Matt. 18th Fluffy. That's a surprise. 19th will be Titans. 20th Mo Power Celtics. 21st Big D. 22nd is Mateo. Road 12 is 23rd is Runner Roads in the 48. 24th is Jocko in the 22. In row 13, the 25th spot will be Marcus Edubs running in the 42 machine. In the 26th is Robbie Racing, and the last row is C Workman, starting out the 27th spot.
All right, thank you very much. So you mentioned it just a second before. Fluffy in the 17 machine, starting in 18th. I don't think I've seen him starting anywhere below, like, I don't know, 5th or 6th in any race this year. What is it going to take for him to be able to get that 17 machine up towards the front early on?
I think he's got a long run car. That's my thoughts. I believe he has a long run car, and he's just going to be flying through people the later the run goes. He's just going to be patient.
All right, interesting. I think, yeah, patience, definitely a virtue here. You don't want to boot guys out of the way.
You don't want no penalties.
Yeah, that can definitely be tough to overcome. All right, so is there anyone else that you can really think of that's starting deep in the field tonight that you would normally expect to be starting further up?
Let me take a look. I'm gonna say Coach Matt. Coach Matt and Fluffy, Titans. They're all in the back. Well, technically the back. Row 9 and 10.
Yeah, a lot of those guys. Coach Matt, Fluffy, Titans, Mopowa Celtics, even Big Destroyer in the 9. We see those guys consistently running, you know, somewhere close to the top 10, top 12 on a pretty consistent basis, but they're all starting 17th through 21st tonight.
Well, we are green flag racing, bud.
We are green flag racing, so with that we will head down to trackside and get ready for green flag racing from New Hampshire Motor Speedway here in the Granite State 160. Looks like already a couple laps in.
Yeah. From what I'm seeing, the only one I see running the bottom lane really is the 6. And everyone else is in the middle of the turn.
Yeah, indeed, it does look like, as we are about to head down to the racetrack to get live coverage, Max Boost leading at the moment here on lap 5, but a lot of these guys running that middle lane early. So heading down into turn 1, we take a look at Birdster in the 10, who I mentioned just a minute before, was running on that far low line as you see these drivers already coming out of corner number 2. Some of these guys still side-by-side racing, but a lot of them right now just trying to run some smooth, consistent laps to start and make their way into the early part of this run without having too much of an issue. Alright, making their way through corners 1 and 2, you can see Max Boost running halfway between the second lane and the third lane in the middle of the corner. Not the same scenario for Diesel Rothgibb, the 18 of DK Brown, and the 4 of Mike RPM. All these guys running in that middle second lane, as you see now Mike RPM copying the man in front of him to try and work his way up towards him. All 4 of these guys running pretty consistently with one another at the moment. It'll definitely be tough for these drivers to work their way up to try and get to max boost, but it looks like everyone's trying everything they can right now in order to just try and stay up there with the leader. It'll be fun to see how these guys make the race work as they go along. As you saw the 18 get loose coming out of turn 2, DK Brown going to lose a couple of spots as they head down into corner number 3.
Yeah, Slade's right there with them. Slade had to let off a little bit. He almost went into the wall. A little tight over here.
Yeah, some of these cars do look a little bit tight, making their way through the center of the corner. Could be setting up for a more long run car. As the run goes along, these cars will loosen up and you'll be able to hit that first seam where the track gets flat, because it can definitely be an advantage. But these guys are going to have some trouble with that in the early part of the run, and I think that could hurt them more than it'll help them.
Yes. As long as they have a stable car and can last most of the fuel run, By most, I mean like 3 laps in your tank until you have to pit. And I think you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, building custom setups here at New Hampshire, never an easy task, always very daunting. These guys want as much speed as they can, but that requires great rotation through the corner here and great drive off as well, and these guys are not going to be able to get that in the long run no matter what they do unless they tighten up the car more for the early run and sacrifice some of that speed. So these guys are going to have a tough time, but I think that they can make it work if they have the right balance. Right now I think you can see the number 77 of Max Boost not really pulling away, but I'm certain that as the run goes on, he might be pushing away from the rest of the field a little bit because that car is going to loosen up and it'll help him out a lot.
Yeah, oh, there's a caution out. We have a caution.
Indeed, it looks like the caution flag is flown. The number 8 of Titans, Jocko, in the 22, both catching up to the field with a lot of damage on their front ends each.
The 13 of Robert Racing has damage to his front end also.
Looks like quite a few cars in this pack have some damage. That man Perky in the 21 does as well. So definitely quite a few incidents here. Looks like the caution flag is flown and everyone makes their way onto pit lane.
See much damage on Perky. Whatever transpired, we could tell it wasn't too serious. Thankfully, no one got injured.
And it doesn't look like anyone had too serious of an issue as everyone makes their way onto pit road. I think this is going to be one of those races, Easy, that these guys are going to have a lot of progression as the race goes along, focusing on trying to see how they can adjust their race cars to race in traffic, and if they can get the lead, there will be some strategy involved. It's going to be one of those races that keeps you invested from start to finish.
Yes. You're going to want to just keep your cool and just drive your car, be patient.
Absolutely, one of the racers' tracks on the schedule. These guys are going to do everything they can to make sure that they don't have any issues throughout the night and come out with a solid points finish. So Max Boost in the 77 Advent Health Chevy Camaro comes out here with the lead. Mike RPM in second. Third is the 19 of Diesel Rothgib with the 20 of Cola Motorsports in fourth, and DK Brown in fifth as we get ready for these guys to use the choose rule and figure out who's going to restart where after this first caution.
I hear you're going to want to be in the high lane.
Certainly looks that way, but it looks like Max Boost elected to go on the inside line.
Low. Yeah, he wanted to see what Mike was doing.
You may very well have trapped Mike in the 4 machine down on the bottom for the long run, and that could definitely help him.
Mike lost position.
Now it looks like everyone else coming out of turn 2, forming up and getting ready to go back green flag racing. Are you expecting anything extravagant on this restart after we've already had our first caution of the race?
No. I'm not looking. I don't see anything happen. It's first stage. They're just going to drive their cars, you know, get their lines all correct in their minds and get that feel for the wheel on this beautiful short track and do some green flag racing.
Absolutely. So heading back down into corner number 1 after Max Boost leads him into the Geico restart zone. Up front right now, running in that second lane, trying to stay in front of Diesel Rothgib, as now Mike RPM falls back to 4th with Cola in the 20, getting by him on the outside as they make their way down into corner number 3.
Cola went high. Wow, I'm surprised Cola made it all the way up there. I'm not surprised. I'm not saying nothing bad. That guy started in, oh, okay, he started in 8th. Never mind, I thought he started in like 12th. Alright, he's got a solid run so far. He's doing pretty good.
He's been able to work his way up there for sure. Doing a great job right now running with the big boys up front after already collecting, I believe, 2 wins on the season. Showing an impressive resume now is Mike RPM in the 4. Looking low on Diesel Rothgib as they make their way back down into corner number 1, and even on Cola, trying to look for second.
Boys got some good cars, I'll tell
And everyone's seemingly having really nice cars as the run goes along. As you can see, Cola slides all the way up the racetrack coming out of corner number 4. And here comes Mike RPM trying to get by, can't quite get underneath him as they head back down into corner number 1.
Yeah, Mike let off a lot because all his momentum just pushed the 20 up. He was behind him. He just gave him all that speed, shot him up the track, so Mike just was nice and let him back in.
Definitely a racer's move early on.
Good sportsmanship right there.
These guys share a lot of it. Everyone trying to give each other some clean racing. We like to give you the best products that we can here in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series and the Valor Racing League. And these guys definitely doing a great job right now, holding on to these race cars and showing each other a lot of appreciation while also battling each other like the great gladiators of speed that they are. As they head back down into corner number 3, you see Max Boost not quite growing much of an advantage on Cola Motorsports. I believe that number 20 Stanley machine may be the fastest on the track right now. Even so, just a tiny bit faster than Max's as they make their way down into corner 1.
Ooh, 48 just sent the... Oof. Oof.
Oh, Mateo Ortiz hard into the inside wall, coming out of corner number 2. Birdster already back there as well, but definitely some damage on the left front of the number 2 machine as they come out of turn number 4.
Yeah, I just watched Runner Rhodes throw Marcus E-Dubs up. Okay, Runner Rhodes just backed off positions. I made him do that.
Interesting to see. It looks like MJO, the 22 of Jocko, and one other car who I mentioned before, all running much further back in the field right now. We'll see how that holds up. A couple of battles here on the racetrack, but nothing too exciting happening right now.
8 is loose, hit the wall.
Oh, gonna have to focus in on him here, but it looks like we also have a battle for the lead here as Cola Motorsports tried to look low on the 77 of Max Boost. Coming out of 2, wasn't quite able to get much, but he's gonna try it again here, coming out of corner number 4.
Ooh, Titan's about to go into the wall. Oh, good save. 12 got loose. Big wreck behind. Big wreck at the start line.
And you heard it,
Big
the number
wreck.
12 machine.
Odette Saints. Yep.
And there you see him in his Jack Link's number 12 Menards machine. A lot of damage on the front end and even some on the rear. He hit that outside wall a ton.
Yeah, he got loose. He was racing with the Titans and got loose. Didn't want to put Titans in the wall. So he just took a hard left. Hard just wanted to take a hard left, and he tried recovering and head on into the outside wall. Carried a few people with him.
It certainly does look like it. There's damage on quite a few of these race cars. So right now, Cola Motorsports in the 20, pushing for everything he's got. I know that he is really, really focused on trying to get underneath this 77. There is a lot of contact between the two of them that you see just every once in a while. And right now, definitely some connection issues. Sorry in advance, ladies and gentlemen. This is an issue that's happening right now with the servers here in NASCAR Heat 5, doing everything we can to fix them. But now it looks like Mike RPM in the 4 has a little bit of run on Cola, looking inside as they head down into corner number 1. Will he be able to get up alongside of him through turns 1 and 2 and try and get the position? Doesn't look like it. Heading into corner number 3, it looks like these guys trying to run that third and second lane, make everything work as much as they possibly can here. These tires starting to lose grip on this long green flag run, and it can be an issue for these guys. So we'll see where they end up as the run goes along. It looks like they're starting to migrate higher up on the racetrack and start to get a little bit lower towards that flat asphalt on the bottom of the racetrack. As the run moves along, Mike RPM still looking to try and get by Cola, while the 20 tries to work back up towards Max Boost. These guys all have nearly identical setups. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like for the at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Number 77, Advent Health Chevy Camaro of Matt, the 10, who's about to go a lap down. The 20 of Cola, trying to make things interesting. No contact made. Oh, and it looks like the 20 got into the wall a slight bit, if I'm not mistaken. Here comes the 4 of Mike RPM to try and work around him now, as Max Boost has built up quite a lead after that hit. Birdster definitely affecting how those front guys race each other, and the 20 of Cola Motorsports got the worst end of it as those guys make their way out of corner number 4 and down the front straightaway. Now back down into corner number 1, Mike RPM with the preferred line on the outside, heading out of the corner. He takes second spot and continues to hold on to it as DK Brown in 4th. In his Elliott Sadler throwback scheme, normally run by Kyle Busch at Darlington in the Southern 500 earlier this year. Now he's sporting it here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway and trying to make it work. He qualified on the outside pole in position number 2 and now looks to dive it in deep on his Toyota teammate and try and pull 3rd place out of a hat. As it comes out of the corner, he clears the 20 of Cola Motorsports and takes 3rd spot away. The damage on that number 20 Stanley machine is definitely giving Cola some trouble. It's tightened the race car up, and although that might help him a little bit in the long run, for now it's definitely going to be a slight problem for him. But DK Brown not able to get a good run off the corner, had to let up because he got tight out of corner number 4, and for the moment that's going to put Cola in the 20 back in 3rd position as the 22 of Jocko has spun in the middle of corners 3 and 4. As we look on here to try and see where he is going to come out of this incident, it looks like he's still in front of Birdster. These other guys continuing to work their way around, but definitely a problem for him now, as he's going to try everything he can to work his way back up towards the front. Right now out front is Max Boost in the 77, still working now, as Mateo Ortiz in the 2, the number 12 machine of Houdat Saints, and the 48 of Roadrunners, all sitting close to lapped down territory. We'll see how they continue to work as the race goes along, but for now they are in danger of going a lap down, as you see Roadrunner already getting past in his number 48 Ally Bank Chevy Camaro as they make their way out of corner number 4. These guys are starting to run a little bit low on their fuel. We'll see what these guys do here, as Stage 1 only has 36 laps, starting to come to a little bit of an end. In the relative future, we're not quite sure when, but for now, Max Boost holding down the fort in his Chevy Camaro for Spire Motorsports, doing a great job here. Not necessarily dominating this race, but has been able to hold on up front and let the guys behind him make the mistakes trying to run him down. Looking at the battle for position here coming out of corner number 4, there you can see the 21 of That Man Perky working to try and get underneath. Oh, it looked like he was working to try and get underneath the number 62, but he got tight coming out of corner number 4, and now he's under attack from Cyber K Bionic in the number 16 machine as they work out of corner number 2. Will the FOE Chevy Camaro squeeze on by? It looks like he will, and now Titans in the number 8 Cat Richard Childress Chevy Camaro working to get underneath Perky in his Wood Brothers Racing Ford Mustang as they work through 3 and 4, and indeed he will do so. Oh, and it looks like a car hard into the outside wall coming out of corner number 4. Or that may just be the end of the stage, and it looks like it is. It was Robbie Racing's number 13 machine into the inside wall, but that will be the end of stage number 1 here in the Granite State 160 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We'll return in just a second after these guys make their pit stops under caution here, and we will see who is going to come out with the lead off of pit lane. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to go back. Green Flag Racing, the number 13 machine of Robbie Racing, was not able to get onto pit road under that stop. Just wanted to make that apparent to everyone as we get ready to go back. Green Flag Racing Now, coming out of quarter number 2, it's Max Boost in the 77, once again taking the point with DK Brown back in second. Cola Motorsports is in third with Mike RPM in fourth, and now Slade in the number 38 machine running in fifth. As they work their way out of corner number 4, Cola Motorsports gets into the outside wall a slight bit, but even then that outside run's strong enough to stay in front of the 4 of Mike RPM. As they come back down into corner number 1, a couple of cars slide into the outside wall. That's the 6 of Granite, who looks like he might have gotten a little help from the Bags machine. The number 1 Monster Energy Chevy Camaro for Chip Ganassi. Making their way through corners 3 and 4 now. Mike RPM trying to take a higher line through the corner. Doesn't even get those left sides down into the first lane as they come out of the corner. Here comes Cola Motorsports in his Stanley, number 20. As they come down into corner number 1, looking low to try and get by his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate, but will he get the job done? Coming out of corner 2, it looks like they stay side by side. DK Brown not able to get the run he was hoping for, though. Got tight coming out of the corner, and now he's under fire from Mike RPM, who for the moment takes the position away, but a beautiful mid-corner crossover by the 18 machine is going to allow him to get back by Mike RPM. Everyone stays out of the wall, but oh, it looks like a couple of cars got loose coming out of corner number 4. The 19 of Diesel Rothkin definitely did, as he is spun to the inside wall.
Caution is out.
And welcome back to the booth, my man.
Glad to be back. Sorry about that, everybody.
Alright, so back under caution here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in the Granite State 160. All these guys going to line up here as soon as they can and get ready to head back down pit lane.
Wide in pit road.
Once again here, going to focus in on Max Boost in the number 77. He's been able to hold the fort all night long, and we'll see where he comes out on pit lane. It looks like Mike RPM in the 4 took 2 tires on that stop, and so did the number 1 machine before everyone comes back out with 4 tires.
If that plays a, if that does anything. Because Max Boost got the fresher tires.
Yeah, he will be restarting in 3rd here. It'll be interesting to see because we do know that Max Boost was having a great run so far. He hasn't lost the lead in the entirety of this race, so now this will be our first chance to see what it'll be like with him not necessarily running up front the whole time.
Yeah. It is good to see my team captain in the lead right now.
Yeah, the number 4 of Mike RPM indeed in the lead.
Got a good car and see how long he can hold that lead with Max Boost. And Bags. Good. Be careful with them too.
Yeah, you can never count out that man Bags in the number 1 machine. A couple of consistent runs. He's been very what's the right word? He's been very, very sporadic, and whenever he's been able to work his way. Mike RPM in the number 4 leads them to the Geico restart zone and back down to the green flag here at New Hampshire.
Slade has found his way to 4th. Slade's the bottom, going 3rd. Ooh.
And there you do see Mike RPM trying to push in the 4 for the lead as they make their way back down into corner number 1, and it looks like right now some slight connection issues. We're seeing a couple of cars not necessarily running where they would normally be on the racetrack as they come out of corner number 2, but Max Boost holding down the fort. DK Brown now sitting in 3rd, and you mentioned it before, the 8 running further up in the field, and now Slade in the number 38 machine makes his way up to 4th position as they come out of the corner.
Oh, Bags has dropped. Wow. The Bags all the way back to ninth. I don't think those 2 tires was a good call.
Yeah, that number 1 machine took 2 tires on the stop, and you mentioned it, him and Mike RPM both running a little bit further back, although Mike's still holding on to second right now, under fire from DK Brown in the number 18 machine, so it doesn't look like the 2 tires affected Mike RPM that badly, but Bags certainly is losing a little bit more grip and possibly a little more speed faster than the rest of this group, as now DK Brown looks to his inside, coming out of corner number 2 and down the backstretch. Can Mike RPM hold on with that preferred outside line? We'll see.
We will see. Because when you're on the outside, somebody coming out of 4, you never know what that person's car is going to do. If it's just going to go up higher up the track higher and put you in the wall, or he's just going to stay there with you the whole time. It's hard to know.
Yeah, definitely a unique characteristic of this racetrack. These cars on this flat track tend to have a little bit less grip in the tires just to begin with, and so these guys have to focus on the fact that their cars are unpredictable coming off of the corners. Lower pressures means that your car is going to have more grip, but you're not going to be able to hold as much speed. But if you have higher tire pressures, you're focusing on trying to get that speed, but less grip means that your car could be sliding or getting tight or running right where you want it coming off the corner, and you might have to toy with the throttle a little bit to get exactly where you want to go, as it looks like the 88 up into the outside wall in the middle of corners 3 and 4.
Just got some free wide for a minute. Ooh, 38 and the 14 are battling. The 1 is battling all 3 of them, both of them. It's a 3-car battle back here. 4-car battle. The 38 is Slade, the 14 of Kilt Lake Jason, the 1 of Bags. Ooh, Slade up high into the wall. Oh no.
There you see the 38.
No damage done. That's okay.
And it looks like he'll continue on. Just a little bit of damage I'm seeing on the right side of the 38, but yeah, looks like he's able to move on pretty okay. Titans got loose coming out of turn 2. You saw him slide to the inside, lose a ton of speed. He's going to fall from 4th to 6th, just in front of Kill It Like Jason in the 14.
Oh, just watch that. Big wreck. Big wreck. In the back. All the way in the back. Who was that? That is Who Dat Saints and the 95 of Brennan.
It looks like Robbie Racing in the 13 involved as well, but
I don't know what that was. I'm sorry.
No problem at all. Thank you for pointing it out.
Yeah, I watched the 95. He looked loose, but to me it looked a little too late to be loose. But again, I was watching from up the pack, so I wasn't sure. But I watched him go from the bottom of the track all the way up and just killed Who Dat Saints.
Yeah, we've seen the number 12, Who Dat Saints, getting involved in quite a few wrecks in the last few weeks. A lot of them not his fault. Seems like he is definitely having a little bit of unfortunate luck at the moment. We'll see if he can turn that around.
Yeah. Him and Brennan. Brennan's been Brennan's had a good car, so there's no caution now, so that means we're coming up to the end of stage 1.
Stage 1 is already complete. We are currently running in about, I would say, 10 laps in to stage number 2 at the moment.
Well, I thought that would have brought out a caution.
I agree with you. Definitely think that should have been a wreck. We saw 3 cars involved in it, but I guess we stay green here at New Hampshire in the Granite State 160, at least for the time being.
I just noticed Tony Stewart has landed his helicopter here off of turn 4.
Something to take note of.
There's a helicopter in the infield right off of turn 4. I've never noticed that before.
as we work our way out of turn number 2, as we look at your leader, Max Boost, coming out of the corner, and these guys kind of battling for second position as Mike RPM, despite being on 2 tires, closing in right now on DK Brown and the number 18 machine. Right now 20 laps in to stage number 2, which is a 52 lap stage. So these guys, if they stay green, are still going to have to make their way down pit road at some point. And we'll look to see who can take advantage on pit lane, maybe take 2 tires and try their very best to make this stage work on just that one pair of right sides. But some of these guys are going to have to take 4 as well because of their tire wear settings that they have based on how they build their custom setups and things like that. It's definitely going to be tough, but we'll see who's able to make 2 tires out of that stop and really gain a lot of positions.
Something I did notice last night was if you're in traffic, if you have a car in front of you, you really lose a lot of speed. Because I was running behind people all race yesterday, and the leader had no one in front of him, and he was just pulling off on everybody. And that's what we're seeing here right now too.
Yeah, interesting point. These guys that are running in traffic are having a tough time, and whenever they do get back up to another car, they're typically putting on pressure and altering that guy's lane, and so you have almost this system of these guys keeping each other from being able to try and run down the leader, let alone run the same lap times. And they're just making life harder for themselves, I guess you could say, by racing against one another to try and be the guy that runs down the leader, or even just to gain a position or 2 when they really don't have to worry about it at that point. And it can cause some problems for sure.
It really can.
These guys continue to run. I have to ask you, Eazy-E, the tire wear here is brutal in certain parts of the race. Do these guys have to worry about how their tire wear, I guess you could say, progresses as the run goes on when they're in traffic versus whenever they can just run by their lonesome?
That's a good question. I think I think they're just driving. I think the tire wear would be the same. You know, like in traffic, they just well, I retract that statement. Racing and, you know, trying to stay in your position. Oh, speaking of that, Mike goes high. Mike the third. I don't know. It's a really tough question, bud.
Alright, well, I would say probably, if you do have any issues with tire wear here at New Hampshire, it would be on that right front in traffic. Now, when you're not in traffic, that right rear tends to possibly burn up a little bit more because you're running quicker lap times, you're a little bit looser, you don't have to worry about a guy below or above you, the car doesn't get as tight, so that's where you'll kind of see that tire discrepancy, and it could maybe change how these guys pit, because if you have more tire wear on both sides, you could be pitting a couple laps earlier and getting some quicker speed earlier on in the next green flag run, but these guys who are able to run by their lonesome might be able to burn a little bit less, and so they might have to pit a couple laps later than the rest of these guys and have long run speed in the next run when it may matter just a tiny bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely, sounds about right.
As you can see, the number 12 machine of Who Dat Saints already got involved in a wreck earlier on, has gone a lap down, gone the way of the Dodo Bird for the moment in terms of contending for a good finish. We'll see if that changes, whether he goes another lap down before we have our next round of green flag pit stops. As you can see him dropping like a rock through the field right now.
D. Workman wasn't able to get into pit road. He looks like he's having a really tough time in the turns. Yeah, he's really having a tough time.
Yeah, you can see the 62 right now trying to hold off the number 48 of Roadrunners, but also trying to make his way for what looks like was trying to make his way onto pit road. Now stays out on the racetrack again. Just has too much pressure behind him.
I think he's just seeing when everyone else is gonna pit, even though he really needs to pit. It looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's really loose. Oh,
yeah.
maybe we'll see what happens with him.
Absolutely. At this point in the run, these guys are trying to just hold on to loose race cars and hold on to those cars because they have so much tire wear on them, and the grip in these rear tires and even sometimes the turn in the front both completely gone. So it's a balancing act, and right now nobody running this act, basically running the entire circus, as well as max boost in the number 77 machine, as he now holds what looks to be about a 3-second advantage on Cola Motorsports in the number 20 Stanley machine in second. I talked a minute ago about how he was more so managing this race than I would say dominating it, but after how well he's been able to run on this long run here, I would say he's dominating this race.
Yes, yeah, Max Boost is definitely dominating this race. And Workman is already in pit road.
62 making an early trip to pit road. You gotta wonder, after he's getting tires this early on in the run, how quickly are the rest of these guys gonna make their way down pit lane? Are they gonna try to maybe get a leg up on one of the guys they're running side by side with or right next to right now, like maybe say the 4 of Mike RPM, who took 2 tires on that last stop?
Yeah. Well, where's Mike right now?
He's running in third from the looks of it, right in front of the number 88 Acronis machine of Mopower Celtics.
I see it. Okay. Wow. That's a huge gap. He's already going into turn 1, and Mike just came out of 4. Wow. So yeah, them tires played a huge factor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to go 2 tires again.
Yeah, 2 tires, it looks like in the short run might be okay. You can get away with it if those left sides are still fresh, but in long run, they've definitely hurt him now as Power Celtics driving away, DK Brown closing in, and Bags, although he did restart in second, running in 7th, as you can see Mateo Ortiz and Birdster both making their way to pit road.
Another one that only got 2 tires. One machine of Bags.
Yeah, there you can see Bags in the 1. It looks like he's signaling as he runs low on the backstretch. He may be coming down pit road this time. We'll check to see as he makes his way through corners 3 and 4.
Max Boost is just lapping everybody.
And there you see, indeed, the number 1 machine came down pit lane. A couple others join him as Birdster rejoins the racing surface. And everyone else right now just trying to hold on for dear life as long as these tires will allow. There you see Slade G84 in the 38 trying to track down Diesel Rothgiv. A clean race car, but not a ton of speed out of that 38. We'll see whether that can change with the adjustments that he makes on this pit stop.
BBS Brennan just went a lap down.
That 95 machine has some damage.
Yeah.
So I just put my camera on the 62 of C. Workman 388 because he was having such a tough time earlier in his South Point Chevy Camaro, and I just watched him pass both Robbie Racing and the 21 of That Man Perky and drive away from both of them. I just want to point out to the folks at home how much of a difference new tires versus old tires makes here at New Hampshire. You can see just 1 lap ago in this spot on the backstretch, he was driving around these guys just for position, and now already sits nearly 2 seconds ahead as he works his way into corner 3. A huge difference between the new and old tires as these guys work around these low banked corners and high speed straights here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
That boy is pulling away.
And they do make a huge difference.
They were like a half second away, and now he's coming up on the 12 of Who Dat Saints. Passes him with no problem. Wow.
The number 42 of Marcus Edub in his Credit One bank Chevy Camaro makes his way down pit lane as there's a couple of battles for position here. From about, I would say, fifth on back, Bags in the number 1 machine, despite his 2 tires, is actually pulling out and getting ahead of the 18 of DK Brown here, and now Granite in the number 6 Oscar Mayer machine, as well as the Kelly Blue Book number 9 of Big Destroyer and the 43 of Coach Matt, both running just within about a second of those guys. Everyone now closing up as this long green flag run continues.
I'm going to keep an eye on Workman. I want to see his progressiveness, see how that goes.
Yeah, that number 62 is flying, and as these guys make their way around pit lane here, and as you can see, Max Boost in the 77 currently sitting on pit road, so he needed service done on that Advent Health machine quick, as Cola Motorsports in the 20 now wraps around corner number 2, trying not to go 2 laps down, and it looks like Max Boost is going to be able to get the job done, staying right there with the 20 of Cola. He will not go 2 laps down if he can get back around him right here, and he will likely be able to retain the lead when all is said and done.
Back to Workman. Remember, last week he had surgery 6 hours prior to the race, and he finished that race on the lead lap, gained a few spots. This week, I believe he wants a good top 10 finish, if not a top 5. I believe that's what he's working on, so he might be in contention. He's got a good car, it looks like. We'll just see how it goes later on.
He will have to work his way back up. I do believe he might be a lap down, if I'm not mistaken, before the pit stop, let alone after the pit stop. Could put him about 3, but so far, he's showing a little bit of speed, and we'll see whether he can turn that into a lot.
Max Boost hasn't pitted, huh?
Max Boost already came to pit lane. In fact, it's the 20 of Cola Motorsports who, if I'm not mistaken, has not been to pit road yet. I could be wrong on that, but these guys, it doesn't look like they've come to pit road yet, a lot of them at least, while others decided to a lot earlier.
Oh, 20 to the wall a little bit.
Here comes the 18 throwback M&M's machine of DK Brown, looking low and getting by Bags in the number 1 machine as they make their way out of corner number 4. He's got a strong car. He's been running in about the top 6 or 7 spots all night long, and right now trying to work with Granite in the number 8 of Titans. He is really pushing to try and get that number 18 machine back up towards the front of this group before they all make their way to pit lane, if they haven't been already. So these guys pushing and pushing for everything they've got. Titans scoots high in the middle of the corner. We look to see whether he's going to be able to recover. It looks like he's able to, but these guys are definitely losing grip and losing turn in their race cars as the front and rear tires all go away. We'll look to see how they can manage that as the run continues to go along. There you can see Columbia PFG sponsored number 43 Fish Machine. Just kidding, it's actually a Chevy Camaro. As they come out of corner number 4, is able to get by the number 8 of Titans as well. Titans losing a lot of ground now as Diesel Rothgib pulls up on him. I believe that he may be sitting out there on a couple laps older tires than the rest of the group. If not, he just definitely is losing a lot of grip. But either way, not having a good run at the moment, losing spots rapidly. And he's got to try and work back up to the guys that just got by him, as he still is absolutely sliding that car high going into the corners. A lot of trouble right now from the number 8 camp.
There's also a lot of trouble for the 95. A lot of trouble for that guy. Keeps getting passed.
And that's BBS Brennan in his Levine Family Racing Toyota Camry, We noticed him early in the race trying to work his way up through and make up some positions on an earlier restart, but now that the long green flag run has hit, that long run car clearly just not there for him. He hasn't been able to hold on like you would hope for, and that has resulted in him losing a lot of time on the leaders. He's already fallen a lap down and now sits about half a lap behind the leaders, threatening to go 2 laps down here, maybe even before the end of this stage, so definitely a problem.
Yeah. I seen Coach Matt. I mean, sorry, I'm watching Coach Matt. I seen Max Boost pass him when we were talking about him a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, Max Boost in that.
Track, so.
Yeah, Max Boost on those fresh tires. We saw him already come to pit lane. I'm very interested. We didn't catch a lot of these guys moving onto pit lane, but it doesn't feel like there's been a lot of change other than, you know, these guys coming down to pit lane once or twice. So is there a possibility that some of these guys are just still waiting, not on pit lane, while others are have already come to pit lane? Because right now these positions are so weird to me. Some of these guys haven't come to pit lane yet, like maybe the 13 of Robbie Racing sitting in 8th right now. But we know Max Boost has been there, so this is going to be a big shakeup later on in the run.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. If anyone has not pitted, that's that caution or whatever, or the stage or whatever, that when everyone else was pitting, I'm saying, they've got a really good car.
Yeah, some of these guys have a great, I guess you could say, tire wear distribution on 2 times where these guys are focused on trying to make sure they don't heat up any tire too much, because even though it isn't necessarily like the 1 times where tires still melt at a relatively normal rate, you can see these guys' tires really have trouble. And it looks like the stage has actually come to an end.
I believe that was stage or caution. I'm going to scatter through the field looking around.
And the stage has ended, and it looks like on the leaderboard we still have 17 cars on the lead lap. BBS Brennan in the 95, the first car a lap down, but C. Workman, Jocko, the number 16 is Cyber K Bionic, Runner Roads, Birdster, MJO, and Who Dat Saints all sitting 1 lap down right now.
Marcus E-Dubs has had some technical difficulties. He is sitting in pit road.
And that is bad news bears. It looks like that might take him out of the running, and indeed it does. He's going to finish for the DNF for tonight, and it looks like on the restart here with some of these guys just recently coming to pit lane, a lot of the rest of the field is going to get jumbled up.
Yeah, we have Slade in the lead, bud.
That number 38 machine been relatively strong all night long, and now, after staying out in that last stage for as long as he possibly could, he is able to work his way back up towards the front and now takes the lead with Titans behind him. Diesel Rothgibb in 3rd, Kill It Like Jason in 4th, and Max Boost gonna have to fight back up towards the front as now he runs in the 5th position.
Oh, Jason. Come on, here to win, baby. Here to win.
And Jason holding strong on the outside line as they come out of corner number 2, and his number 14 machine, Max Boost, going to try and squeeze him up towards the outside wall just a little bit.
Just a little bit. 8 has the lead.
Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just mentioned it. Titans in the number 8 machine out front now in that Cat Chevy Camaro for RCR. We haven't seen that Cat scheme win a race in a long, long time. I can't think back to a race before the 2002 Daytona 500 where Ward Burton took victory in his, I want to say Pontiac. I could be incorrect, but he has come a long way in his own right. Titans in the number 8 machine after starting the year a lot rougher than he's sitting right now, being able to outrun Slade and Diesel and even Max Boost and hold on to the lead, at least for the moment, here in the Granite State 160 at New Hampshire. So working their way out of turn number 4, Diesel Rothgibb is able to get by Kill It Jason, or excuse me, able to stay in front of Kill It Like Jason, while the number 20 of Cola Motorsports and the 77 both work to get around these guys and try and get back towards the front of the field. A lot of the other guys that we saw running up front earlier sitting further back in the pack now. Guys like the number 18 of DK Brown sitting in, I believe, 8th position, Bags in 11th, and the number 4 of Mike RPM running near the rear end of this front group as well.
Yep.
Oh, and it looks like DK Brown.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh, DK Brown got loose coming out of turn number 4, and from what we can see, it looks like he got loose enough and clipped the commitment cone line, and now stuck in pit road. Unfortunate to see. He is going to be in the rear of the field, and likely already a lap down, if not 2, by the time he comes off the pit lane. It looks like he will only go 1 lap down.
Yeah, you hate to see it, Jim. You hate to see it.
Tough luck for the 18. It was running well for most of the night. We'll see how he can recover if everyone only has to do 1 stop on this green flag run, which it looks like right now that is going to be 49 laps left for the 18 to try and run after coming off of pit lane. We'll see if he can do it. If he can, he could still salvage a decent finishing position in tonight's event, but unfortunately if he can't, he's going to lose a lot of points that we know he really needs to stay above the playoff cut line.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Definitely hate to see it. He was up front. He was up in the top 5, top 10 all race. Ooh, the 1 of Bags underneath the 4. Mike RPM. Clears him. Oh, the 4 is coming back on the outside. Ooh.
Yeah, working down into corner number 1 there. You see Mike RPM trying to get above Bags. Not able to get the run he was hoping for on top. Now takes that top run, puts it to the low side. Not able to make anything work, though. Slides back in the line, squeezing Granite right up to the outside wall. And now it looks like these guys are going to go single file once again, coming out of corner number 4.
He is pushing that car to its limits.
Yeah, back down into corner number 1, you can see a lot of these guys really pushing, getting rid of that cushion instead of pushing for a cushion like you see our leader Titans in the number 8 doing up front. But in second right now, a battle between Max Boost and the number 20 machine of Cola Motorsports as they battle for second place to try and be the driver that goes and runs down the number 8 of Titans. But as they continue to do so, Titans, for the moment at least, is going to continue to just drive away with that lead, and definitely right now just going to try and hold on, try and maybe if he can hold on, score an upset victory here in the Granite State 160.
See, that dirty air plays a big factor in this race, on this track. Huge factor it plays.
Dirty air can be a big deal here, and we're going to see Titans getting a little bit of dirty air in a couple minutes here if he can catch up to DK Brown. Remember, Brown slid onto pit road, but he does have a couple laps fresher tires, so we don't know whether that 18 machine is going to be able to cause a problem for Titans or whether he's actually going to drive away from him as the Titans begin, or excuse me, as the tires begin to wear on that Titans machine as well as everyone else in the field.
Oh, Bags really high. Bags went really high. Mike RPM passed him. Mike RPM, he passed the 9, and he's trying to pass the, I believe that could be the 19 of Diesel. Yes, it is. Diesel up into the wall. Oof. Hate to see it. Yep, Mike. Yes, good sportsmanship. Oh.
These guys are running really hard next to one another right now. You can see Coach Matt inside of Bags now in the 43. Everyone just trying to get by each other, not make any contact, but as you can see, it's becoming a more daunting task.
That's a little hard to not make contact. Trying to get up there again where you belonged, and it's just tough. Tough not to make contact. It's all accidental. Nothing is on purpose. You'll know when it's on purpose when someone turns somebody.
Yeah, definitely. Especially even if these guys, you know, just tap the left rear a little bit. You'll know when it's intentional and when it's an accident. But right now, Bags in that one machine really trying not to make contact with the 43. But Coach Matt really forcing him down there and holding on to that second lane. Not going to let Bags get the run off the corner that he wants to try and get by him.
Well, that seam, that bottom lane, that seam, you got to be careful of that seam right there that he's on. You got to be careful of that. You can't put the gas down in that seam. That's when your rear end will just slide out from underneath you.
Yeah, you mentioned it before that it will, but the good news is right now these guys still on relatively fresh tires. I'm taking a look at some of the tire wears. These guys running down into the high 60s, low 70s, but they're still able to run that seam for the moment. We'll see when these cars really loosen up who's going to be able to hold on and run down in there. Only a couple guys have been able to so far tonight. You can see Granite right now finessing that seam coming out of corner number 4.
You seen Bags a moment ago had to let off, and he just could not hit the gas in that seam. He couldn't do it. The car just wants to slide.
Yeah,
unless somebody came by with a can of oil and dipped it in that little crease.
Yeah, that's almost how it feels, especially when you're driving on this track. I ran a test run to get these guys' fuel windows and tire windows and everything like that I mentioned at the beginning of the pre-race, but these guys, as they go throughout the race, they're going to have some trouble with that grip, and it could cause that slippage on the seam because of how much of a difference that banking can be. If you guys have ever run in NASCAR Heat 5 before, you know when you run at a place like Daytona or Talladega, those big differences in banking between the apron and being able to run on the banking will cause that car to slide. Think of it like that, but on a much smaller scale. And even though it's small, it's still very deadly at a place where the speeds are lower, like here at New Hampshire, where the track is so flat.
Yeah, you're still hitting about 160 at the turn, but then you have to slow down in the turn to about 100, about 110, and go any faster than that, you're just gonna slide up the track and lose your positions.
Yeah, it's never an easy task. These guys try to maintain their spots while at the same time not running too hard. Now, these guys have cooled off a little bit. Mike RPM, Granite, the 19 of Diesel Rothgib, Coach Matt, and Bags, all this group that have given us so much great racing tonight now, just backing off a little bit and doing their own thing, able to try and run consistently now to make it to the first set of pit stops. And up front, we have a change as Titans has been run down in the Cat Camaro, as here comes Cola Motorsports and Max Boost to make things interesting up front.
Wow. Blade is in first, second, being sixth, fifth. Okay, alright, okay. Let's see where Slade was.
It looks like right now Slade running in the 5th spot. I do believe that the number 88 of Mopowa Celtics in his Acronis Chevy Camaro been able to settle in nice in the 88, just running in 4th, having a good points night as he's been mixing it up with a lot of drivers in the last few weeks and pushing for everything he is got. And now looks like he's having a race where he can just take it easy, try and run a little bit more low-key, just getting a good finish out of tonight and getting a good points finish that he hasn't been able to obtain in a little while.
Oh, poor Marcus. Yeah.
Here you see the 20 Stanley machine once again running up front. Max Boost running down towards that seam in the 77, trying to get by Titans because he knows he's got the machine to try and run up near the front and try and get back up to Cola, and he clears him going into 1. But now, after all that traffic, will the 77 be able to get back up to Cola before this race comes and draws to a close? as it looks like everyone's going to have to make their way onto pit lane at one point or another. These guys refusing to run down in that seam when they don't have to, but everyone going to have to make their way to pit lane. It looks like for the moment, at least from what I'm getting, these guys are going to have to run out about 13 laps before the end of the fuel run. So we'll see what they can do. These guys are going to have to come down pit lane, whether they're going to have to take left side tires to go along with the rights, or whether they can just take the rights and be on their way as the race comes to a close. But pit strategy here, and these guys maybe just trying to get out there and save a little bit. Can they make a big mix-up on the scoring pylon? We'll look to see.
Yeah, Cola has such a great car. He won last week too.
I mentioned it a couple of times already. Cola has been very consistent in the last few weeks. He's just been able to kind of ride near the front if he's not running in the front and just hold on whenever it matters. And we see him driving up through the field whenever he needs to, but started 8th. We know he had a pretty quick car, but that long run car has just been brutally consistent. Him and Max Boost have both been able to just run consistent lap times with one another and hold on to their race cars when it really, really matters. They've been able to do the most damage on these long runs. So we'll look to see whether Cola Motorsports is going to be able to hold on, but I might have to ask him what he did to that setup to allow him to get such good stability, because these guys haven't seemed to even break loose one time coming off of a corner or running through a corner. They've just been so consistent with their race cars all night long.
Yeah, kid's an animal. That boy's a beast. Oh, we have a car in pit road. Who is that?
Oh, it looks like it's the
Mateo.
2.
Yep, the 2 of Mateo.
And it looks like the 13 of Robbie Racing coming onto pit road in his Geico Chevy to join him in his Germain racing machine. As other guys are going to start to make their way on pit road, I'm sure, pretty soon here, if they want to have a shot at being able to get in front of these guys right now that they're racing on track. As it looks like a couple of guys now making their way on a pit road. The 21 of That Man Perky, Mike RPM. In the 4, the 43 of Coach Matt, and one other machine that I saw as well making their way on a pit road is the 10 of Birdster. So guys, taking notice, they might only have to take 2 tires, and they want to take advantage of them while they can.
Just gonna get out of the way for people.
A great veteran. A great veteran move there by Mateo. As you can see, the 20 of Cola Motorsports running low. Max Boost ran it a little high into the corner, trying to get that run off, but not going to be too successful this time around, at least trying to gain ground. The 12 has been able to hold on newer tires and stick right with him, but we'll see how long that'll last, as now Max Boost looks like he might be closing the gap just a little bit on Cola as we move closer to more green flag pit stops for these guys up front.
We have 25 laps to go.
Alright, looks like as these guys cross the line, thank you for that update. These guys gonna have to focus on making sure that they can make it all the way. Don't want to lose track of how well your car has been running and what areas you need to improve on now, because this pit stop is going to be the last time that these guys are even going to get a chance to improve on their machines, as now traffic starting to weed its way back in to this gap between the top 2, between Max Boost and Cola Motorsports. This last pit stop is going to determine a lot for these guys, and we'll see who can come out on top.
And earlier I was talking about Brennan and how I thought his having a difficult time. That guy right now is running in 5th.
Impressive.
Yes.
Looks like he's making his way to pit lane now, so that could change
Yeah.
momentarily, as he hadn't come to pit lane before some of the rest of these guys who are going to get back around him. But having a good night now after he was running the first car a lap down, was able to get the free pass, and now is going to be able to finish what looks like on the lead lap tonight. A great run by Brennan, a great turnaround as well, showing a lot of promise. Taking a look at a run for position here between Kill It Like Jason and the 14, the 9 of Big Destroyer, and the 19 of Diesel Rothkin. All running right with one another right now, just trying to focus on not making contact like we talked about before, but also battle for position before or after these guys have made their way onto pit lane. Based on how fast they're going, I would bet that it's after they've been on pit road, and now just a focus of where am I going to finish in this race. I don't have too many people in front or behind me. I just want to focus on getting as many points as I can.
Yes. And points is what you race for, really. It's that playoff position. You want to get up in the playoffs and just get as many points as possible and hopefully come out as a champion.
Yeah, absolutely. Very important. These guys right now, not necessarily focused on winning a championship, but right now, just getting notes if they come back to any of these racetracks and focusing on making sure they're getting good solid finishes and making their way into the chase that way, because getting a win might not necessarily be in the question with how great these guys up front have been throughout the season, like Fluffy and Max Boost and Cola, but you know, just focusing on getting good finishes and making your way into the playoffs and making your name known.
Yes. Cola just is exiting pit road as we speak.
Alright, Cola making his way off of pit lane in the 20. Now coming out of corner number 2, it looks like at the moment Max Boost in the 77 was able to get out ahead of him in his Advent Health number 77 Chevy.
He's got the car. This week he qualified. He did not want to start in the back.
No, absolutely not. Here, with all that traffic.
Even though, if he didn't qualify and he worked his way up to the front and won the race, that would be a feat, and that would just be amazing.
Yeah, here at New Hampshire, we've seen a couple of those wrecks, all being in the back of the pack. So, guys in the rear who all have more similar cars to one another, really, really making a little bit more contact and doing a lot more close racing. So, getting to see these guys up front have such close cars and qualifying up near the front, running near the front all day, it's just exciting to watch.
Yes. And it's very nice to see only 1 or 2 cautions. I believe it's only been one, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's really nice to see that on a small track.
Absolutely. Yeah, anytime we go to a track under a mile, you always expect, or at least at a mile, you always expect to see more cautions, whether it be a place like Bristol or Martinsville where it's only a half mile, the 3/4 of a mile track of Richmond, the 7/8 of a mile at Iowa, and Dover and Martinsville, or excuse me, Dover and New Hampshire both being at a mile long. Definitely expect to see more cautions, but not today.
No, not today. It's nice. It's nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Brennan did stay on the lead lap there in the 95 after coming down pit lane just a couple of laps before these guys. So we can take a look and focus on where he is on the track in 15th at the moment and try and see what lap he's running to compare him with the leaders. And I believe, as Cola now catching the rear end of the 77 and Max Boost, who's going to try and hold him off, we're going to sit at just about 14 laps left of green flag racing.
16. No, you're right, 15. Because Brennan's not lapped, correct?
No, but he is running a little bit close to being lapped.
I see. Okay, so yeah, we're coming up on 14 to go.
14 to go for these drivers. Will Cola be able to get by the 77 of Max Boost?
Ooh. Almost had a wreck.
Ah, Another wreck. Where was it from?
Almost.
Ah,
There was no wreck. It was almost.
I see. You can see Workman letting these guys go out of the way, trying to let this race for the win commence as organically as possible.
Well, Brennan just ran a 29 flat just now. Let me check the next lap. Oh, Brennan with it. Wow.
Yeah, right now Brennan sitting 3/4 of a lap down. It almost amazes me how he, sitting in there running 29 flats on a little bit older tires already, isn't anywhere close to as fast as some of the rest of these guys, because I couldn't run anything faster than a 28.8 in testing on my custom setup. So the fact that these guys are sitting out there running laps so quick on their custom setups, I'll have to ask whoever won this race, or whoever does win this race, who had the fastest lap, what their fastest lap was, because I guarantee you it's going to be probably about half a second faster than anything that I can run here at New Hampshire. A very challenging track.
Could be more than that, honestly. I seen the all-time at 27 seconds. And I don't know if those were wall bangs, because I haven't made a setup for a cup on New Hampshire yet, so I don't know the goal time or anything. But no max boost, boys. Oh wow, max boost is just on 3 wheels.
That number 77 machine is quick. He's been able to hold on right now over Cola Motorsports, but those tires just a couple laps older, and with these cars as close as they are, I don't necessarily know how long he's going to be able to hold on, and if he holds on. Do you think he's got a shot at being able to stay in front of the 20 here?
Yes. Talk about max boost, man.
Yeah.
My boy. Remember, he held out red at Watkins Glen in the Pro League race. I believe it was Watkins Glen, and he was loose coming out of the last turn, and he won.
Yeah.
This boy won. I don't even know how many Pro League. Oh, nudged the 20 out of the way.
It looks like a run coming out of 4 here for the number 20 machine of Cola Motorsports. He's in that preferred passing lane as they have now just 7 laps left to go. Here comes Cola to the outside. Will he be able to get by Max Boost coming out of this corner? There's
squeezing him.
Oh, they're still side by side as they head into corner number 3. Something's going to have to give here soon, but these guys battling side by side, making a little bit of contact with each other and rubbing up with one another. Max Boost still holding on for the moment with just 6 to go as they back it down into corner number 1.
That'd be nice if they finish that way. Photo finish.
Oh, it would be lovely to see. Here we see the 20 tried to go on that seam down low that we talked about. He made it work, didn't get the car loose, but wasn't able to get the run he was hoping for. Coming off the corner to look inside Max Boost, and now, I don't know if he's going to be able to get back up to these guys. That run is going to be very, very close. As now these guys have just 5 laps left. Amazing.
Yeah, 5 laps.
Yeah, it looks like some of these guys going to let the front guys just run as they make their way out of corner number 2. Max Boost got into Brennan a little bit, and it looks like the 20 has lost some speed. Maybe the caution flag.
Go? Yeah, I was going to say that. I believe there's a caution. Wait, what's going on? Wait. Oh.
The 77 of Max Boost has kept the lead here in front of Cola, but yes, the caution flag is flown as everyone tries to work back up.
Yeah.
You have to wonder what this was for. I mean, I didn't see anything happen on the racetrack. Not necessarily sure who would have been involved in the wreck, because everyone right now is catching back up to the front guys.
I have to go around looking at damage. Oh, the 9 of Big D is destroyed. Big Destroyer is destroyed. Oh boy.
Interesting to
Oof,
see it.
it's for an end.
It looks like the 9 and the number 95 of Brennan both coming down pit lane this time around, as they have some issues for sure. Not going to be taking fuel, but definitely tires and repairs on those machines after looks like 2 front end hits, which means definitely a possible spin. But here we go, max boost onto pit lane as these other guys take the wave around. Some guys staying, some guys leaving, and Cola Motorsports in the 20 stays out on the racetrack with Titans right behind him. On a big loss of position here that this is going to be for the number 77 of max boost, as only a handful of cars came down pit lane.
Okay, so it was a caution.
Indeed it was.
With five to go. So it happened right... Wow. Wait. Huh. Okay.
Interesting to see. Not quite sure what happened still, but max boost, at least for the moment, sits far behind the rest of the pack, as he's going to try and focus on getting back up towards the front of the field now, with a lot of these cars holding back in between as these guys get ready to set up for what should be the last restart of the race. Going to be setting up for a 2-lap sprint to the finish here in the Granite State 160 at New Hampshire. This is going to be good, you guys. Make sure to buckle up for this crazy ride as the 20 of Cola Motorsports leads these guys back down to the Geico restart zone and head off towards corner number 1.
There we go.
Max boost in the 77, sending it down into corner number 1.
21 has spun.
It looks
Does that
like
cause any bigger problems?
For the moment, it looks like he's going to be able to hold on, and we stay green.
He's spun completely out, yeah.
Max boost with a great run coming out of corner number 4. Gets by Mopowa Celtics in second. He's got 4 tires, but does he have enough time on the last lap here? A big wreck out front.
Ooh. Ooh. Mike RPM, Runner Rhodes, Birdster.
Looks like it's not going to affect.
No.
It's not going to affect these guys. Everyone wrecked after the start-finish line. We're going to race back to the flag.
Bags. Oh.
Is there contact here coming out of 4? It looks like the 77 can't quite get there. Cola Motorsports is going to take the victory here at New Hampshire. Crosses the line after staying out just in front of Max Boost and scores the victory here for 2 weeks in a row.
Wow, wow, wow. What a finish.
Coming back to the start-finish line, we saw after Max Boost got by the 88 the power of those quick 4 fresh tires, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it worthwhile. He lost just barely, lost out there, but it's still a great run by him. And second place finish after holding on to that lead. You gotta hate it for him after giving up the lead as Cola Motorsports was staying out front, and that caution did not help anyone.
Hey, he had a great race though.
Absolutely.
Let's see who got the fastest lap. See what their lap times were, bud.
It'll be interesting to see who had the fastest lap time, because these guys were certainly quicker than I could ever be here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Definitely a driver's track, only fit for the best.
Mm-hmm.
And Cola Motorsports.
Yeah.
Wow. That is an insanely quick lap time here at New Hampshire. I haven't seen anything like that before.
Wow, Slade he had 15th with a 28.5.
That is absolutely crazy. These guys ran some blisteringly fast laps here at New Hampshire. So in just a minute, we'll get these guys into the party and get ready for a couple of quick interviews before we call it a night here in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series. Your winner, Cola Motorsports. We'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series for the Valor Racing League. Post-race now, after the finish of the Granite State 160 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Your winner for tonight, Cola Motorsports in the Stanley-sponsored number 20 Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing. Before we get into interviews with him and second place, let's go right into the third place finisher for tonight, Mo Celtics in the number 88 Acronis machine. How are you doing tonight, my man?
I feel good. Had a great run, and that's about it. Just feeling really good.
That is great to hear. So take me through this race. I know that there was not necessarily a ton of cautions except for that one at the end that caused everyone some trouble, but you know, a great run for you tonight. What did it take for you to just go out there and have some consistency? Because it seemed like it did not come easy for a lot of guys.
I mean, I knew coming in, kind of the plan, like to have a long run car going in. So we started in the back, and we were just trying to pick off the guys one as they fell off or made mistakes, and we ended up doing that all night, and we brought it home in third. And that caution helped as I was able to get around Titans on the restart, because if there's no caution, I wouldn't be in here. So I made the pass on him and brought home P3s.
Alright, you definitely were able to do a lot in tonight's race on those long green flag runs, especially with that long run car. Did you have anything that you put on your custom setup that helped you out with that long run stability? Because I know we saw some guys, you know, spinning coming onto pit road or spinning coming out of corner 2 with some loose race cars.
I was kind of having a little bit of trouble in the beginning, but I just put the wedge up on it a little bit and just made sure to really not try to drive it as hard. I was making that mistake earlier in the race, driving it really hard in the beginning of the stage, and it was kind of falling off a little bit at the end, but I just made sure to just keep it consistent, not burn the tires off of it.
Alright, well, turned out to be a very, very nice strategy for you, bringing home third tonight in that Hendrick Motorsports number 88 Chevy. Great job tonight, and thank you very much.
Good win, Cola.
Thanks, buddy.
Alright, on to our second place finisher tonight, the number 77 machine of Max Boost, the man who led the most laps in tonight's race. Had a great car all night long. What happened with that pit call at the very end? Why did you bring it down pit road?
First off, I didn't know there was a caution. I guess my team owner lost connection to the Discord, so I had no idea until everybody was slowing down. And I picked up damage, so I mean, I had to pit. I had damage from not knowing what was going on, and like I didn't know where to go, and I turned left and got my front end ripped off. So I had damage, and everybody pitted last week. So I was like, okay, I'll pit. You know, short run's going to be important, and nobody pitted. So I restarted 10th because of that.
So coming out and restarting 10th was definitely tough, but you managed to drive your way back up to 2nd. How much did you notice throughout the night new tires having a big effect on being able to get up towards the front of the pack?
Oh, they were huge. I know you needed them. And I had a really good long run car. That's where I built it to go long run. And so I knew that tires were going to be really important because everybody was catching me the first 10, 15 laps, and then I would able to get in my rhythm and kind of run away. And then on that last run where Cola got past me, I tightened it up a little too much, and then I got some damage on that restart after stage 2. So I was just struggling to maintain pace. But yeah, those new tires were important. So I thought most guys were going to pit, but I didn't know until about pit road that pits were open and we were under caution. So I assumed, okay, everyone's gonna pit. I didn't have time to think about it to go, okay, well, here's my options. This is how many cars. So I kind of went in blind, and I mean, I finished 2nd. So I mean, I guess it wasn't that bad of a pit call. But I really feel like if I would have restarted next to Cola, we would have had a lot more dramatic finish, closer. Yeah. But it is what it is.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
I seen you. You were going like 5 miles an hour. You slammed on your brakes by pit road, and that's when I knew caution was out because nobody was flying by you or anything. And then you went to take you went to pit road, and I was wondering, like, he's the only one in pit road, basically. Like, that's not good. But you made it.
Yeah.
You got podium.
Yeah, and I'm happy about that. I mean, I love this track, and I felt like I had the race-winning car. But I mean, late race caution, same thing at Vegas, same thing at Kentucky. You know, they kind of happen, and you know, it changes the way the race is supposed to end. But that's NASCAR; it just happens. So I wish I was in victory lane, but you know, it's how it goes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You had a great shot. You had a great run tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just want to say real quick, I believe Fluffy's birthday is tomorrow, so I want to say a happy birthday to Fluffy.
Happy birthday, Fluffy.
Happy early birthday to the man in the 17 machine. And thank you so much tonight. Max Boost in the number 77, Advent Health. Chevy Camaro finishing 2nd. Great job tonight, my man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and on to our race winner for the 2nd week in a row, the number 20 Toyota Camry, Joe Gibbs Racing Machine in victory lane. Congratulations once again, Cola Motorsports.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you first off, before we get into the last couple of laps and that dramatic finish, you had a very, very stable car all night long, and you managed to run the fastest lap of the race. How did you get such a nice mix of consistency and handling on the long run with great speed in that car throughout the course of the night?
I'll be completely honest with you. My long run speed, it was probably about a 10th place car. I'll be completely honest with you. Most of my speed was coming from the beginning to the run, to the middle of the run, but that long run, I mean, I had no chance for Max. Like he said, he had the race-winning car. If we stayed green, it's his race, not mine.
Interesting that you put that out there. I know that that short run car definitely did help you out in the late race, because once that caution flag flew, you saw the 77 pulling off a pit lane. Did you think in that moment, I don't care how many guys are going onto pit lane, I'm staying out and taking my crack at it? Or did you think, more strategically about whether guys were going to come onto pit lane or whether you just wanted to do the opposite of Max?
Well, I thought about pit. I kept talking to my captain. I was like, well, what are we doing? Are we going green? Or are we having to stay out? Because we was coming to like 5 to go, I think it was, and we had to call a caution. Well, Max, he took off, and he stopped there at pit road, and I saw him stop, and then I saw him pull in. Well, I was like, hopefully everybody stays out. If not, it was just a bad strategy call by me, and he stayed out, and it showed. He was there. He was there at the end. He came from like 10th place to my bumper in 1 lap, basically. Just strategy played in my favor once again, and hopefully next week we can get it done again.
All right. Yep.
No doubt about it.
All right. Well, thank you very much once again for coming in, and congratulations on your 2nd straight win here in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series. Hopefully next week, come back to Victory Lane and get yet another interview with us in after a great run. So thank you so much for coming in, man.
I do have one more thing to say though. Me and Max Boost, I mean, we ran a clean race all race long, and I respect that. I really do.
Definitely something good to point out. Thank you so much. Definitely credit, to Max Boost for being able to race with you clean all night long. You guys definitely had the 2 best cars tonight, and it was some amazing action to get to see 2 of the best in NASCAR Heat 5 race against one another there. Great job.
Yeah, thank you guys, and thank you all for what y'all do.
Thank you.
Good job.
Alright, so with that, Easy, I want to ask you, this is the first time we had a race like this year since Dover, where these guys really had strategy play somewhat of a role, and we saw a great late race restart like we saw in week number 2, or like we did at Atlanta, where Cola was able to pull that one out as well. Is there anything that you really want to take away from this one where, certain drivers win certain types of races, or strategy playing a big role? What do you take away from this one?
No, this is a track where there is no favorites. It's just run your line and don't screw up really, and you'll be able to you'll pull out. You could become a victor. Who knows? Just stay patient. That's what these boys did tonight.
Absolutely.
So like 1 or 2. There was only like 2 or 3 cautions, and it was the cleanest racing you can ask for New Hampshire.
Yeah, absolutely. You're perfectly right about that. One of the cleanest races you can ask for from New Hampshire. We had a couple of wrecks that didn't cause cautions, but they were mainly just 1 or 2 car incidents where guys got loose, made a mistake on the racetrack, and overall they didn't really have a huge effect on the race. So,
just in the end, where that big wreck happened and took out Mike RPM and a few others.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, well, that's a couple of things to take away from that race. A lot of clean racing for these mile tracks. It really shows the grit, the determination, the toughness, and a lot of the tactical precision that these guys have to just be able to run side by side with each other and battle with each other for laps and laps at one of the toughest racetracks on the circuit and still not make contact with each other. Be able to race clean with one another. They really showed what it meant to be a Valor Racing League Pocono Raceway Cup Series driver tonight.
That's right. Hit my hats off to them boys.
Absolutely, I couldn't do what they do.
No. Well, work at it, you can. Anyone can do anything.
Very right about that. Alright, so with that, we take away just a couple of things from this race. Once again, Cola on a hot streak with 2 straight wins. Max Boost has been consistent. A lot of these guys that were running well early in the season starting to flounder a little bit in their finishes. Guys like Mike RPM, while other guys are managing to work their way up into some top 3 and top 5 finishes, like Mo Powers Celtics like we saw tonight. So a lot of storylines to look at, a lot of guys to keep track of, and just a few more reasons to tune back in next week on Tuesday night as we head to our next race on the schedule in the NASCAR Pocono Cup Series. So with that, we say good night from the Valor Racing League. My name is James McCombs with Easy E up in the booth.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.